There's a force most men never truly understand, something subtle yet magnetic, something that changes how women respond without a word being said. It's the masculine calm, not the fake kind you throw on when you're anxious, and not the rehearsed confidence you hope she buys into. No, this is a calm that runs deep, a calm born from knowing yourself so well. No one else's chaos can shake you. This is what draws her in, stirs something primal inside her, and makes her look at you like you're the only man in the room. It's the quiet power of a man who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, doesn't need approval, and that energy, it doesn't just get noticed, it gets felt deeply. She may not even understand why, but she will feel pulled toward you. It's not the way you look, not the things you say, but the energy you carry that makes the difference. Your stillness speaks in volumes that words never could. Most men are chasing love, attention, approval, reassurance. It's frantic, it's loud, and women can feel that. They sense the neediness underneath the surface, and it kills the attraction before it even starts. But the man who is rooted in himself, who doesn't need her to validate him, he becomes different in her eyes. He becomes rare. You walk into a room, and you're not trying to take up space, yet the space bends to your presence. You're not trying to be seen, but she can't help but see you, because you've let go of trying. You're not seeking to impress. You're already impressed with your own stillness. And that's the paradox. The less you try, the more she wants to know what's behind your calm. The more grounded you are, the more intense her interest becomes. Women by nature are emotional, not in a weak or irrational way, but in a beautifully complex, raw, and deeply intuitive way. Their emotions aren't just fleeting moods. They're waves of energy, alive and moving, testing and revealing. They feel everything on a deeper level, sometimes without understanding why. This isn't something to be feared or fixed. It's something to be witnessed and respected. And in the middle of that emotional current, when they encounter a man who doesn't get swept away, who doesn't shrink or panic when the waves rise, something powerful happens. He becomes an anchor, not because he resists her energy, but because he remains unmoved by it. And that grounded presence doesn't just comfort her, it excites her. It challenges her. She may not consciously understand what's happening, but on a deeper level, she feels drawn to that unshakable center, like a magnet pulled to something solid and safe. It's not about being aloof or detached, it's about being fully present without being reactive. Most men fail this test. They get thrown off by her shifting moods. They try to control, to fix, to understand every little change. But that's not what she wants. She doesn't need a fixer, she needs a man who can feel her without losing himself. A man who can stand in front of her, even when she's wild, emotional, unpredictable, and remain calm, steady, and unbothered. That's the test she doesn't even know she's giving. And when you pass it, not by force, but by simply being, she feels something ancient inside her awaken. She begins to trust you with the kind of trust that goes beyond words. You don't need to explain yourself. Your calm says everything. This calm isn't about shutting down or pretending you don't feel anything. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's about being so in tune with your own emotions that you're no longer afraid of hers. It's about owning your inner world so completely that nothing outside of you can throw you off balance. When she's emotional, you don't get defensive. When she pulls away, you don't panic. When she throws subtle tests your way to see if your confidence is real, you pass them without even realizing it, because you're not acting. You're not performing. You're just being. That's what makes it powerful. You're not reacting to the chaos. You're observing it, allowing it, and remaining rooted. That's rare, and that rarity is what makes you unforgettable. She may raise her voice, or withdraw into silence. She may challenge your words, or question your intentions. Not because she wants to argue or sabotage things, but because deep down she wants to know if you're really that stable. Can you handle the full range of her feminine energy without folding? Can you stay grounded even when things get messy? That's the question she's always asking silently, emotionally, instinctively. And when you prove, not with words, but with your presence, that you can handle all of it, she relaxes. Her defenses soften. She feels something she doesn't feel often, safe enough to be fully herself. It's not because you've given her the right answer, but because you didn't get shaken by the storm. That's where real power lives, not in being the loudest, toughest, or most charming guy in the room, but in being the one who can remain still when everything else moves. That stillness is felt in your tone, your eyes, your breath, your silence. It's a language of presence that speaks louder than words ever could. A lot of men sabotage attraction without realizing it. Not by being bad people or doing something obviously wrong, but by constantly reacting. They over-explain when they feel misunderstood. They apologize just to smooth things over, even when they've done nothing wrong. They rush to fix her emotions as if her every mood is a problem to be solved. But here's the truth: she doesn't want to fix her. She wants a witness, a man who sees her, who feels her, but doesn't crumble under the weight of her expression. Masculine calm means you hold your space even when her emotions are loud. You listen without rushing to solve. You breathe deeply and stay rooted even when the conversation gets intense. That's the kind of presence that earns her respect. That's what draws her in at the core. This doesn't mean you're indifferent. You're not ignoring her feelings or playing some manipulative game. You're just not letting her feelings dictate your sense of self. And that, ironically, gives her the very thing she craves: emotional freedom. When you stay steady, she feels free to fully express. She doesn't feel judged or managed. She feels seen. The crazy part is, the more stable you are, the more intense she may become. Not because she's trying to drive you away, but because your calm gives her space to feel everything. And she wants to feel. That's how she connects. That's how she trusts. But she can only do that if she senses you won't collapse. When she shows her full emotional spectrum. So instead of trying to control the moment, you allow it. Instead of trying to direct the outcome, you let it unfold. That's when she starts to lean in differently, not as a test, but as a surrender. Not out of curiosity, but from deep respect. Here's the paradox: most men never see the calmer you are, the more intense she becomes. Not because she's unstable, but because your calm invites her into the depths of her own emotion. It awakens something in her. That stillness you embody becomes a mirror for her to explore her feminine energy without fear. She feels safe to be vulnerable, expressive, even wild, because she knows your presence can handle it. And not just handle it, but welcome it. That's the secret most men miss. It's not about being unaffected as a way to dominate or control. It's about being deeply rooted in yourself so that she has space to be fully herself. The more still you are, the more space there is for her to breathe into her own softness. That's when she begins to surrender, not to you as a person, but to the experience of being herself around you. You'll notice something shift. She starts leaning in more. She finds excuses to be near you. She opens up in quieter moments and tells you things she doesn't tell others. And maybe most powerful of all, she starts thinking about you when you're not even there. Your absence becomes more powerful than another man's presence. Why? Because you weren't performing. You weren't trying to win her over. You were just being anchored, steady, where that presence sticks with her in ways charm never could. You didn't need to chase, beg, impress. You didn't need to be louder or flashier. You just needed to be. Because in a world full of noise, calm is a signal, stillness is strength. Presence is power, and when she feels that power, really feels it, she doesn't forget it. It echoes in her memory, it imprints on her body, and it pulls her back again and again.